Hello, everybody, and welcome to our June BIA Code Pudding live stream. My name is Tiffany Hall, and I am an alumni of the TripleTen Software Engineering Program. I am a full stack engineer, and I am a product owner at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books and a powerhouse in the digital education space as well. Tonight, I am very excited that I get to host the June Code Pudding for our BIA students. I'm so glad to see that so many of you could join us today. I see that we already have people chatting in the chat, so that is always lovely to see. This code pudding is one of my favorite things to do. It is a great opportunity for our students in all programs to get a chance to mingle and meet and work together across the US. The students tonight are our Business Intelligence Analytics students. That's the BIA, and they have been working hard. So let's go ahead and talk about what a code pudding is if you're new. So a code pudding is a friendly competition here at TripleTen. Although if you keep coming back 3 times, looking at you, Shiv, then I'm thinking it's not friendly anymore, and now you're just out for everybody. So our friendly competition usually consists of a super short timeline. We're talking like 5 days, 6 days tops, where students are getting together and they are putting in the work on the data. They look at all of our prompts, we give them data sets, and they are going to go ahead and put it together and make it wonderful, like a chef's kiss dessert that you need so desperately at the end of your middle of the work week. So, code pitting consists of 2 parts. We have the working with data and the presentation. Last week, our participants divided into teams and were challenged to collaboratively create visual essays using the data sets that we have provided them. Our teams, like I said, 5 days, that's all they had to work on the project. And tonight they're going to show off their work. The judges will review them next week, and then they will evaluate the data part and the presentation. Our results will be posted on Discord and socials by July 4th. So happy Independence Day early. And all of our students and viewers can vote for their favorite project during the week. And the winners of the Audience Award will also receive a special prize from TripleTen and my cat shark bait. Pro tip, it's cheese. Just write down the name of your favorite team in the comment section. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a live chat you'll see. And then if you're watching this on replay later, you'll see there's a comment section. If you are a student of ours already, then you can go ahead and vote for your favorite team in the Discord channel. Okay, without any further ado, let's check the live chat. Looks like we've got 3 people very excited for our stream tonight. We've got Sly, Ellis, and Captain TK. So good to see you all. Hello, hello. And let's go ahead and get started with our teams. I'm very excited to introduce the first team of the evening, the Route Rethinkers. I love that alliteration. And that is Brenya Griffin, Parek Shah, and Bushra Albukarn.
Great. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. So we were, as a group, analyzing airline bookings and flight preferences. So it's going to be presented by me, Brenya, and Bushra. And for this data set, it was to analyze customer behavior related to booking patterns, identify trends that can support marketing strategies, optimize pricing models, and enhance demand forecasting to increase revenue. So the questions we're looking to answer are basically what marketing factors attribute to customer preference, what routes generate the most demand, and how do flight durations affect purchase spendings. Now, the first thing I wanted to take a look at is the highest booking days. So what I found was that Monday and Sunday are the top 2 booking days. That's when travelers are the most likely to complete bookings, which at 17, almost 18%, and then 17% for Sunday. Off of that, I wanted to see, okay, if they're booking in advance, what is their timeline? So for the majority of the timeline, whether they're doing round trip, one way, or circle trip, all of them are over 90%. So which means customers prefer to very much book in advance as much as possible whenever they get the chance. Now, off of that, we saw that they want to do advanced bookings. So if we look at it in a global perspective, we're trying to see that, okay, so Australia, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan, and Indonesia top the top five list in terms of advanced bookings. They contribute to over 70% of the sales. So as a marketing perspective, trying to look at Asia Pacific and Southeast Asia regions because they contributed to more than 70% of the advanced booking sales. Now, off of those top five regions as well, I wanted to see if what can we do for upgrade promotions. So with Australia, they have about 12,529 customers that wanted extra baggage. And then Australia also leads in in-flight meals at 9,000 customers and in preferred seating as well at 6,000. So they lead the category in all three dimensions. Now, also, I wanted to look at, customer demographics for marketing. So we have single individuals, couples that are a top priority for households that are booking advanced flights. Now, based off of that, the preferred flight time for the top two households. So for couples, it's between 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and 12 p.m. And for singles, it's between 7, 8, and 12. And the top two households for travel volume percentage. So for couples, they generally like to fly. It's a 17% chance they're going to be flying either on a Monday or a Wednesday or Tuesday. And for single individuals, they're going to be flying on Monday or Tuesday, which were the top two for those.
All right. Next, we wanted to evaluate the impact of passenger orders based of the purchase leads and analyze the channel of sales. Graph illustrates that purchase leads grow with the number of passengers peaking in the 4+ category. Consistently outperforms the mobile channel in across all groups. As passenger numbers increase, both channels see more activity, though the internet remains dominant. Overall, this data highlights the significant potential of the internet channel driving sale leads, especially as the number of passengers increase, underscoring the importance of leveraging this channel effectively. All right. After that, we went ahead and focused on deciding what correlating routes with the purchase leads in results to the channel of the sales. So we looked at different airlines. We saw that the AKL airport route towards the KUL, which is, I can't even see that, which is Malaysia, and the route that's going towards Thailand and Japan, the routes pulled the highest average purchase leads. And what purchase leads meant was the time between when they actually booked the flight versus when they actually took the flight. And while the Malaysia to Taiwan sits at the bottom of the top five of the list. Across every route, the internet channels outperform mobile. Mobile still contributes a meaningful share, particularly on the two indicating room to grow mobile conversions. All in all, the data points to a web-driven sales engine with promising mobile upside, especially the star routes, while highlighting that the Malaysia and Taiwan as the clear.
So here we wanted to. I can't see the screen. I'm sorry. So here we wanted to explore whether passengers on longer flights are more likely to purchase extra services such as in-flight meals and preferred seatings compared to those on shorter flights. To answer these questions, I focused on three key variables. Per, can you please share the screen?
Oh, it's not sharing anymore?
No, it's not sharing. So I focused on three key variables from the airline dataset, which is flight duration, preferred seat selection, and flight meal requests. I started by using MySQL to compute descriptive statistics for flight duration. The flight ranged from 4.7 to 9.5 hours with an average of 7.3 hours. Based on this, I created a new column called flight length, categorizing flights into three groups: short, medium, and long. I then exported the clean data into Tableau, and I built side-by-side bar chart to visualize the average request for meals and preferred seats by flight length category. So the analysis suggested, as you can see, that the passengers on longer flights are place higher value on added service, likely due to the need for comfort over extended travel time. Right now, I'm going to hand it over my team to present the recommendation.
So for recommendations for marketing, I wanted to say that, we launched targeted bundle flight upgrades, such as in-flight meals or preferred seating for Australia and Malaysia, since they contribute to the highest upgrades. Monday and Sunday are the highest booking days, so we should schedule email campaigns, social media promotions, and retarget ads to launch on Sunday and peak on Mondays for customers to plan advanced trips and maximize promotional reach. And since single customers and couples were the highest household contributors, so we should plan for multiple like discounts and promotions like solo travel deals and like romantic getaways for couples, since this is the most highest demand, and based off the preferred date and time, we can tailor it to their specific needs. And then recommendations for flight route, focus growth, want to double down on digital campaigns
Oh,
for
oh,
uh,
I can do it. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about the recommendation to route focused digital growth playbook is what I refer to it. Boost the mobile channel to attract more leads from the users on smartphones and tablets. We should create special promotions for larger groups as they tend to generate more leads, and enhance the internet sales experiences with exclusive offers to capitalize on its strong performance. By focusing on these strategies, the company can effectively increase sales leads and enhance customer engagement across both channels. In relations to multiple channel lead acceleration strategies, we'd want to maybe double down on some digital campaigns for the Auckland, as well as the I'm not too sure what airport, using dynamic web offers, and, and to squeeze even more value from the already strong internet channel. Again, we should refresh the mobile booking flow with faster checkouts and push lead promotions, aiming to lift mobile shares on high volume routes and gap between lower performing ones, and run route specific incentives for the ICN as well as the ML route as well as the PN route to spark interest and nudge these mid-tier routes closer to the leaders. So in short, the numbers reveal a strong online sale backbone with untapped mobile potential and clear route by route opportunities waiting to be unlocked.
So the recommendation for customer spending is very simple: enhancing offering for longer and medium flights, such as improved meal options and seat upgrades, and basically simplify service for short flights to reduce cost while meet a customer expectation. Thank you.
All right, that was great. So I am a big fan of the data set that you guys chose. I fly quite a bit, family everywhere, and so now I will be adjusting my search queries because it certainly seems like I am the family of four that falls into one of your categories there, and I'm getting raked over the coals of my prices here, not to mention not getting any good seats. So thank you for that. Let's talk about the things that you guys did in your project. So a lot of people don't know that, we give you guys these raw data sets, and you go through and you just comb through all of this data to try and make meaning of it. How do you guys as a team look through what is, just rows and columns of black and white and see what is the information that you want to bring to a presentation? How do you guys decide that?
I guess the best way to really describe it is to try to understand the data first, and then try to see how you can compare, columns to one another and see what fits together, and try to come up with questions based off of that, which is the hard part. Trying to make a difference in business in terms of, providing more sales growth. It's important to figure out questions that really help impact businesses.
Got it. So really thinking through that lens of what is going to give your potential employer, right? The most kind of return on your time that you're spending
Yeah,
on this.
exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Very helpful. And then in terms of like, let's talk about the coursework then. What kind of prep did the coursework give you for the this code pudding in itself?
I think it definitely helps with communication and then being able to manage schedules because everybody's on a little bit like East Coast, West Coast, or like I'm in the Midwest. So balancing times and then balancing when we can talk about the data set and then figure out what questions we want to answer. Like communication on Discord is really important to make sure we're communicating back and forth. If anybody needs any help, it's make sure to lend a hand and give them the help they need so we don't fall behind.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah, just
communication is
reiterate,
hard.
just
Yeah, go
adding
ahead.
on to that, one of the things that I felt with this challenge was really awesome was being able to collaborate. I think sometimes like you don't when you're in the class and you're doing this online on your own, you kind of get boxed in. But when we were able to kind of like share, piggyback thoughts, not get so digged into like where we were going and being able to like self-correct each other, it was really amazing to work with two great people who really brought the momentum to the data and built a great story.
Fantastic. Yeah, that is something that I really enjoy about these, as well as the chance to practice talking to each other about the topics you've been learning about, right? I think it always especially brings that moment of like, 6 months ago, I remember when I was in the program, it'd be like you'd talk about the program and what you'd been learning to one of your friends or your colleagues in the classes. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, did I understand what I just said? Yes, I think I did. That's amazing. And so it's kind of a nice moment. Bushra, how was it the Code Jam for you? So this is kind of your first time through, I think. And so what did you think of the experience overall?
Actually, it was really nice and interesting experience. It's to work with our raw data set with the teammates and start to like draw a story from this data set and start to like generate the questions by your own. It was really good experience actually. I enjoy it and I learned a lot from this experience actually.
Oh, so glad to hear it. I know a lot of newcomers tend to feel nervous, but I'm glad to hear you really enjoyed it.
I did.
All right. That was our route rethinkers. And that team consists of the Brenya, sorry, not the Brenya Griffin. Well, I guess it could be. She could be the Brenya Griffin. And then Parek Shah and Bushra Abu Karn. Thank you guys so much. I will be adjusting my flight searches accordingly. All right, our next team tonight is not able to join us live, but they did go ahead and pre-record their presentation, and they are the Stat Surgers. And that team is consisting of Sue Y and Jerry Cook III. So I will go ahead and share on behalf of them. And here we go. Sorry, 1 second, ladies and gents.
Right. Hey, hello. My name is Jerry, and I'm here with my teammate.
Hi, my name is Sue.
And our team, we're the stat surgers. So we're gonna show you how these stats are surging. We did an analysis of a bike rental station in Washington, D.C. The data was collected over 2 years. So we're gonna look at different types of customers and their behaviors at the bike rental station over that time period. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. The main things we're gonna focus on is time frames and also weather. So this is just an overview of the bike rentals by month, by year, month, and week. So this chart over here, this just shows the bike rental times, and you can see it peaks around 1 o'clock and around 9 o'clock, and more people rent bikes when the weather is good. The blue is good weather, the red is bad weather, like rain. So I'm going to blow up these three charts right here and just go into a little bit more detail on month and hourly rentals. So this is the rentals by month, and you can see it peaks in the summer months. So this is between April and October, and this is between April and October. April and October. That's when the most rentals happen. So one thing that the company could focus on is promoting to customers in winter, finding promotions for customers in the winter. You know, people like to ride bikes when it's cold, your body heats up, it's a good workout. So that could be something. If they increase their sales in the winter, then they can avoid this big dip, and that's a lot more money in between seasons. Another thing to notice is that the general trend is upwards over time. 2011, they were at 143,000. 2012, they were at 218,000. So, you know, that's almost 100,000 more riders in that year that they, you know, so that's a good trend. That's a good sign. And this shows the riders by hour. So this is the same chart I showed before, peaks around 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. This also shows the peaks at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's like right after rush hour. So after rush hour, it starts to taper off. And from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. during rush hour, that's when that's when the rentals start to take off. So that indicates that most people are renting for to commute to work on weekdays, because this is for weekdays. And on the weekends, these two lines right here, that represent Saturday and Sunday. And you can see that the rentals take place at a different time. People start renting around 1 p.m. and it tapers off into the evening time. So that's a good thing to know about the renters so that you can always have the right things available. So yeah, that's everything about that. And this is for weekly renters. On Friday, over the 2 years, Friday had the most renters. So that's a good thing to know. And the little pop-up, it shows that most of the renters are registered renters as opposed to casual renters. And these two pie graphs right here, this shows the renters, the casual renters on weekdays per weekday. And this shows the registered renters per weekday. So you can see more people, more casual renters rent on weekends. You know, that's when more new customers come in. So keeping that in mind, if you want more registered users, then they can tailor promotions on the weekend to try to get more casual users registered. So Sue is going to take over from here on the next slide.
Hello everyone. I'm gonna continue with like some recommendation for the city planner from like what we have learned. Okay, so let's start with the key recommendation for the city planner based on our analysis of the season, working day, and the weather patterns. So here you can see how demand for bike rental changes across the seasons and between the working days and the weekends. Fall and spring, that show the highest demand, especially on working days. So it suggests that the commuters prefer to ride when temperatures are moderate and conditions are good. So on weekends, demand shift towards casual user, especially during the summer. So this indicates an opportunity to target more recreational riders during the weekends. So based on these insights, we recommend increasing bike supply during spring and fall, and preparing for like lower usage during bad weather, and creating targeted promotion to attract casual riders on the weekend. So I'm gonna continue with another slides. Okay, that one is daily rides with annotation. So we analyze the ride patterns across every day from 2011 to 2012. So we can you can see like overall growth trend in bike sharing using during these 2 years. However, when we look closer at specific events, there has one clear example in Hurricane Sandy on October 29, 2012. You can see on the chart as well. So on that day, the number of rides dropped dramatically, just 22 rides only, which is the lowest recorded point in our dataset as well. And so it shows how extreme weather events can like severely disrupted normal ridership. So for the planner, this means like having flexible operations and like contingency plans during the major weather disruption that would be valuable. So the next slides, I'm gonna present weather and like total rides by weather and user type, temperature versus rides. So this is our last slides. And so we examined how weather conditions and temperature impact ride attractiveness. So as you can see in this chart, on clear days, the demand is highest and registered user ride the most. When the weather turns cloudy or rainy, the casual user are the first to stop riding, while registered user the rider show more consistency. So, and another one, looking at the scatter plot on the right side, we can see that the moderate temperature between approximately 0.5 and 0.7, which is around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, that results in the highest number of rides. So this suggests both very cold and very hot weather that can reduce the attractiveness of biking. So city operators they could consider offering like promotion or incentive when weather conditions are ideal to maximize ridership. So this is the end of our presentation. I hope you guys enjoy it. And how about Jerry? You have something to say?
Oh, nope, all good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and we're back. Really love that. Did anyone else notice the most surprising thing, at least in my opinion, was that the ridership in spring was lower than the ridership in winter? What? I did not see that coming out of the data. That is one of my favorite parts about doing the BIA streams is that sometimes the data just comes out of left field and you just don't know what conclusions you're going to end up giving. So super fun to see that. Who knew that that would be the big takeaway? More writers needed in spring. Well, I want to thank Stat Surgers for going ahead and pre-recording, and I'm so glad to see that they were able to find meaningful data for the writers of DC because I have been in DC just as a visitor and done some driving there, and it makes me very nervous. So I was very nervous about what the bike riders were going to be like, but it turns out it's a very common thing. All right, the stat surgers are Sue White and Jerry Cook III. All right, our last team for the evening is going to be Sky Metrics. And they already have one big fan. Ellis is Let's Go Katie, is shouting out Katie. So already a fan in the crowd. The Sky Metrics is Shiv Shah, Antonio Palomar, and Katie Berry.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I think Shiv is going to be pulling up the presentation from Antonio, who will get us started. And I didn't hear anything when you spoke, Shiv, so you might need to do a quick tech check before your part of the presentation. But Antonio is going to kick us off, even though he can't be with us tonight.
Are you able to hear me now? Okay, perfect. All right, hello, everyone. My name is Shiv Shah. I'm going to get started with Antonio's presentation here to get us started.
Our project is titled SkyMet.
Can everyone hear? All right, good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Antonio, and I'm here with my teammates, Shivang and Katie. Our project is titled Skymetrics, Insights on Flight Booking Completion, and we focus on analyzing flight booking behavior. We were curious about a specific problem in the travel industry. Why do so many people search for flights, but so few actually complete the bookings? That led us into a deep dive using real booking data, Excel for data prep, and Tableau for visualization. We chose this topic because the drop-off from interest to purchase was surprisingly high. That gap raised important questions about user experience, pricing, transparency, and intent. Our objective was to identify key factors that influence flight booking completion and uncover behavioral trends among travelers. Our choice for data was the customer booking dataset consisting of 49,000 plus bookings with fields like customer origin, stay length, and completion status. To dig deeper, we cleaned and transformed the data using Excel, then moved into Tableau for visualization. Tableau gave us the best mix of interactivity and clarity for sharing insights visually. We started with basic cleaning in Excel, removing duplicate records to ensure each booking attempt was unique. Then we created new fields to support storytelling in Tableau. Lead time category groups bookings into last minute or early planners, and etc. Stay length category splits trips by duration like weekend or long stay. Booking status converts 0-1s into a clear yes or no, and we did the same for preferences like extra baggage, seat selection, and meals. These transformations made the data much more intuitive and helped drive the insights you'll see shortly.
Awesome. Didn't Antonio do great? So I'm going to walk us through the beginning part of our visualizations. One of the most alarming things we saw as Antonio went over was that there were a very low rate of completed bookings overall. So people like to window shop and dream about taking flights, but they might not always pay for that flight. What we found when we started digging is that Malaysia had by far the highest completed booking numbers, followed far behind by Australia and China. But by far, Malaysia was the highest value market just in terms of volume. But when we really dug down, what we saw is the relationship between pure booking numbers and booking completions wasn't always a one-to-one. So what this shows is the percent of people who shop for flights that then completed their bookings. So Malaysia still leads here. They are most likely to both shop and then complete their bookings. However, Macau was the second most likely to complete their booking from their original shopping. And if you take a look here, in the top 20, we don't even see Australia. So Australia does quite a lot of window shopping in order to be the second most booked country, even though they have a very low booking completion percentage. So that might be a market that we can look into to see how we can get Australia to maybe book a little bit more of those vacations that they've been dreaming about. And on our next slide here, one thing that we found that increased the rate of booking pretty significantly was if the individuals chose amenities to go along with their flight. We found that people who selected no amenities were least likely to complete their booking. And if they chose that they wanted a meal, that they wanted a seat, that they wanted extra bags, they were the most likely to complete that booking. The thing that influenced the booking completion the most was baggage. If people wanted an extra bag, then they were really planning on that trip, followed by their seat selection, and whether they wanted a meal or not had the lowest amount of influence on that. Overall, the more the customer customized their travel experience, the more likely they were to actually purchase that ticket. I think Shiv is going to take over for a couple here.
Yes, so the next visualization that we looked at was the booking completion by stay length. So here we have a visualization that shows the amount of individuals that stayed for a short time, a long time, a medium stay, and a weekend trip. So this pattern suggests travelers are more committed to either quick trips or well-planned extended stays. Quick getaways and long vacations may represent more decisive booking behavior. Medium trips and weekend plans could be more price sensitive, leading to higher cancellation or drop off. So that's kind of like the assumption that we made from the data, thinking of real airline data, how would individuals be thinking? So then if we go on to the next visualization over here, this is the booking lead time distribution. So in this tree map, we have kind of four different areas of very early booking, standard, or last minute. Very early would be over 46 days, early would be 22 to 45 days, standard would be 8 to 21, and last minute would be 0 to 7. So we see that individuals like to book their flights earlier rather than later from this data set. However, some people do like to wait for certain days to get the best deals, or if they're unsure if they can travel due to a lot of work restrictions or kids have school, which could then eventually lead to earlier standard booking time instead of very early. We were really surprised to see that last minute was only 9.69%. There is a certain group of people that at least I personally know that do book last minute, but it does get very pricey. But then again, there's the other end of, if you're going for a work trip that could be booked last minute from work. So a lot of different factors here. And then if we look at our next visualization here, this is going to be flight booking based on popular days. So in this data set, we were able to unravel that Monday clearly, had the highest booking for that day of the week. And this could add potential to the advertising team to provide discounts on certain days to increase overall sales. It's been like a myth that, the Tuesdays and Mondays are usually the best days to book. But I guess according to this data set, it does similarly show that. And I did do research on that aspect as well. I was able to find on a website that I have linked here, it does say a 2024 data study by Upgraded Points found that the best day to purchase airline tickets is Monday or Tuesday, with Friday and Saturday being the most expensive. So that was actually interesting to see based on this data set, because we did understand that this could be, AI generated data as well. So it was hard to understand if this is real time or, how the actual measures would kind of go about. But I guess, it does kind of prove the point that certain days are better for booking. I'll go ahead and pass back to Katie for this.
All right, so what can we learn from this data? I think one of the first things we learned was that if you have high volume, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a high conversion to booking. So in general, we are going to be looking for that more in advance booking in order to try to get that higher conversion, but it's not a guarantee. We also learned that selecting those optional features was going to probably be a signal that they have a stronger intent to buy. People that are choosing these different customizations are more likely to push pay. We learned that the trip length seems to affect their reliability as well. Short trips and long trips are more likely to actually be purchased. Weekends and mid-length stays were more likely to be thought about and then maybe dropped off, or maybe wait until the last minute. And of course, that booking time can be related to discounted rates. It's possible the reason that people are booking a lot on Mondays and Tuesdays is because that's when we're going to see the best rates overall. So the question is, what should we do with this? What are our next steps? We think we should continue to encourage people to book early, continue to offer those earlier discounts, maybe even loyalty perks to lock in that high intent customer sooner. We think that you should target the feature selecting customers. They're more likely to complete their booking if they can choose those selections. So maybe making that a little bit user-friendly or putting it directly in front of their face, so that way they start really visualizing that trip. Focus on those reliable regions. We need to really double down on high converting markets like Malaysia, and also think about things like Australia, seeing if we can increase that booking region. And then maybe run some weekend promotions and see if we can get more people booking those short trips.
Some of the limitations that we did see in the analysis is we don't have revenue data, so it's a little bit harder to look deeper into the numbers and try to understand exactly, where the numbers lie based on if there is discounts, if there's no discounts, how much are customers paying for a shorter stay versus a longer stay. There is no, again, no customer demographics, so we don't know, where they're booking from, how, like what kind of flights they're booking. The binary completion status assumes that all features are equal in cost and weight, and booking context is also unknown. So there is a few limitations within this data set, but overall, I do feel like it's definitely gives some sort of insight in how majority of individuals do tend to travel. Yep, and time to travel, summertime. So everyone try to get out there, go somewhere and visit somewhere nice, and maybe try to book on Mondays or Tuesdays, see if it's better for you.
All right, that's fantastic. I'm gonna go right out and book a weekend getaway to Malaysia.
Yes.
Literally just like one toe off, one toe right back on. There you go. Really great presentation. One of the questions I have is just, I think because I'm not in this kind of sphere of information, is I heard you guys talking a lot about like targeting certain types of customers. Are those customer profiles that your team generates? Is that something that comes with the data? Because you guys kept talking about like high intent and things, which yeah, totally makes sense. But then I'm wondering, wait, did you guys create that? Is that something that's in the data already? Is that part of your coursework to create a profile? Did you just magically pull that out of air? I don't know.
I think what happened is we saw that completion rate and we saw that there were trends in customers that were more likely to have intent to actually buy versus people who were window shopping. And so that was a great thing that we thought should be communicated to airlines that, hey, if people are going to pre-select that they want a seat before they even hit buy, they might be more likely to buy. People who are booking 6 months in advance are more likely to actually buy that plane ticket than people that are looking within the last week.
Yeah, really great point. And I think that in itself, when thinking of how you guys are presenting as a team to your stakeholders, labeling that customer as a high intent customer already is communicating a recommendation, kind of, a meaning that they may not have had by just looking at the data alone. So I think that's a really great takeaway. Shiv, let's ask the most awkward question, which is, we've seen you around here a lot. So like, are we besties now? Or are you just like the code jams?
I love the code gems. I mean, honestly, there's so many things about them that I love. You know, each time I'm in a new jam, I just feel like, there's new teammates, there's so much more to learn about each other. There's more practice on, working with individuals that you've never met. There's a lot of teamwork that goes into it. There's just, there's also a lot of experience too, like all the data sets that we've worked with. Some of them have been AI generated. I'm not sure about the one that I did last month, but this one and the one I did in April was. But I mean, it's still a lot to learn and uncover. The data was more spread out this time, and it was able to be like understood. Like, as we mentioned, like Malaysia is clearly a destination that's more popular within this data set itself. And so I just like putting myself in that real world position of, how are we going to be able to optimize another business that we would be potentially all be working for, right? What can we say? What recommendations do we have? How would we want to, assume certain things? How would we want to prove certain things? So all of it is just, keep gaining more experience, just keep practicing, keep working on things. And, I enjoy it. I think it's a great time. I think every time I meet a new teammate, it's genuinely a great time. I've been very pleased with the journey.
I'm glad to hear that. We've got a lot of people that are very pleased with y'all's presentation in the YouTube chat. We've got Brenda, who is saying that your presentation for your team was wonderfully presented. And Luis had a question that I thought was a really good call out, that all of our teams are using, is the software that you guys are using for your presentation of the data. because I know that as BIA experts, you guys think that, the things that you guys are using to create all of these wonderful visualizations are probably like, it doesn't everybody. But for me, I'm with Luis going like, wow, how'd you do that little square thing where all the little squares are parts of squares? That's cool. So tell us about the software that you guys are using.
I think we can split that question. Katie can have some input on that. I'll have some input too.
All right, Katie, go for it.
All right, if my dogs are done throwing a hissy fit, then I'd love to. Uh, so this stuff is new to me too. I'm still in the middle of my coursework, and I finished my unit on Tableau about 30 seconds before I joined the code pudding and got to use it. And
Perfect.
I love it. If you have ever used Excel to build a graph and wanted to pull your hair out, you need to meet Tableau because it is just the most wonderful, easy to use, once you learn what it is, visualization tool ever.
I'm listening. You had me at Excel and pulling out my hair.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I think after all this time, I know there's been a lot of controversy between Power BI and Tableau. And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, me personally, like Power BI is a little bit more similar in the Excel format. Tableau is just a little bit more user friendly. It's a little bit more easy on the eyes. It's a little bit more simplified. And I think something that is good to take away for anybody getting into business intelligence and analytics is that when you're presenting a presentation, you want to be as simple and as easily understood as possible, right? Because you want to put yourself in the viewer's perspective. It's like, how are they understanding all of this information in one, right? Tableau does a really good job with simplifying data set to just kind of show you, hey, look, we got 46% over here, we got 30% over here, boom, boom, boom. Like, let me show you a tree map, or let me show you a nice bar graph. Just very, very easy, very user friendly, and I enjoy it a lot. I mean, I think that should be just what we always would use, but I know it's starting to get to be like a lot of different softwares that a lot of people are using, but a lot of good colors too. So wanted to add that too, like a lot of different colors.
It is my favorite part of all of the presentations tonight is everybody had meaning in their colors. So they weren't just colors for the sake of colors. I really enjoy that. All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to present and really great, I think really great points that you pulled out, but I think it was also something that I really enjoyed was at the end where you pointed out the limitations because it is something that is good to note from a business perspective is that you don't go out and spend $1 million based off this one thing. You might want to hold up and just make sure we've got all the bases covered first. And so I think it's really wise that you guys were able to present that as well. So kudos. Good job. Oh, I see. Sorry, Louis. Louis said not for the Tableau, for the final presentation. Was it Google or Microsoft Slides? The blue sleek background is apparently giving very next level vibes for him.
Oh, it was actually Google Sheets.
Okay. Google, you mean Google Slides?
Sorry, yeah, Google Slides.
I was going to say Google Sheets is like the Excel thing. Yeah. Okay. All right, there you go, Luis. So Google it is. Yeah. Google and Tableau, and then boom, you're ready to go. All right, thank you guys so very much. That was our Skymetrics team, and that is Shiv Shah, Antonio Palomar, and Katie Berry. And that is going to do it for us here at TripleTen for our June BIA Code Pudding presentations. Thank you so much to all of you who are watching. Thank you so much to all of you who are chatting away in the YouTube chat. Go ahead and make sure you cast your vote if you haven't already for your favorite project tonight so that we can make sure our audience award votes are tallied. If you are a student of ours, you can go ahead and vote for our favorite projects in the Discord channel. All of our results will be posted on Discord and socials by July 4th, just in time for fireworks. As we've heard tonight, it takes a lot of teamwork to make all of these projects come to life, and it certainly takes a team to make all of our streams come to life as well. So I wanted to take a moment and thank all of the people behind the scenes that you don't see put all of this together. Arena, Omar, Liana, Natasha, Olivia, Dennis, Anastasia, and of course my cat Sharkbait, who is really just devastated to hear that he's not allowed to be on the flights because he doesn't have the proper vesting. Oh, well. Thank you so much again to all of the participants. It takes a lot of courage to get up and present, not just in front of your peers, but in front of the whole world. So I really commend your courage for doing that. Thank you again to all of you who are participating in the chat and who are cheering our students along as they go. My name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram, and you could probably find my cat Sharkbait looking up how to become a service animal so he can fly to Malaysia. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great